What's going on, y'all? This is your boy JG.
AB.
This is Exaggeration Experience. We get into 2019 MMA, everything MMA, right here, right now. Let's go. '19 is coming to a close. We've had some fantastic cards in the MMA world, whether it was ONE FC or UFC or Bellator, kind of, sort of, but no one cares about them. Shout out to them. We're going to cover all the bases, all the highlights. We're going to get it done as quickly as we can, and we're going to carry the momentum of this year into next year, 2020, with those fights. Let's go. What you got for me?
We got up. Let's start it off in April. We got the Khabib versus Al Quinta. Brooklyn Gangster versus Dagestani Eagle.
There's a lot of stories that went behind that card.
Yep.
We got that fight because someone threw a dolly at somebody, hit a bus, somebody was bleeding. Rose Namajunas is still in hiding. And we got that bout. This is an interesting bout for me because Kat said that, oh my gosh, I can't believe Al Quinta went 5 rounds with Nurmagomedov. Right. And it wasn't real. We all knew that wasn't real, but it was significant in nature just from the standpoint of the card changing so dramatically based on...
You have to adjust your opponent. You have to adjust to your opponent. That's what a fight is. And Khabib did that. And to some degree, the real fans, not the casuals, knew
Shout
that
out
he
to
was...
casuals.
Not the casuals knew that he was toying with him. We could see it. They could see it. I mean,
I'm going to try my right hand. I've been practicing, and you're next.
That's
fuck
bad.
Fuck out of here.
Now, the bloodbath, about a week later, the bloodbath that was Poirier versus Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje, hype train. He's the human highlight or the highlight. He came in, he beat some cats up and was exciting. He got one eye that sits in the corner, a little bit of slurred speech for a young man. Fighting Dustin the Diamond Poirier, probably has the second or third best boxing in MMA. Got touched up, got stopped. What do you got for me?
I mean, like you said, I'm a Gaethje fan. I think we all are.
Shout out
to just see someone.
Shout out Edson Barbosa. You got beat up.
Beat up. You know what I mean? And he does that in his fights. It's one of two ways. He's either gonna maul you, beat up. A lot of blood is gonna be exchanged, or the same.
Shout out James Vick. Your career is over.
So exactly. And then we got Miocic versus Cormier in July 7th.
The first one?
No, I believe this is the...
That's the second one? Oh, it is the second one.
Yeah, this is the second one.
Yeah, so that was an exciting bout. I think this is a great highlight bout. You're talking about a fight that Daniel Cormier kind of came out and did whatever he wanted to do, striking, which is weird. First round, he got a takedown and some success. Miocic able to get back to his feet, and Daniel Cormier kind of dictated the pace until he started getting dug to the body. You know, his belly meat started getting hit.
Very weird.
And then, Miocic switched it up. Body went upstairs, was able to get the stoppage. What do you think? Do you see the trilogy fight happening? If it does happen, how do you see it going?
I do. I see it happening, and the way that I see it going is Cormier's coach is being like, excuse me, what are you doing? We have a game plan here. Sure, you striked with him, and that's just to get your ego off. That was very weird. Like, he was beating him up standing, which was cool to see Cormier doing. But he totally lost his wrestling, and after a certain amount of time, the better striker, which I think, and I don't know if you think Miocic is,
I think he is.
He's gonna come through at the end.
He made the adjustment going to the body. Yeah,
that's what a better striker will do. He'll realize, oh, yeah, this punch is landing, this one is not. And yeah, Cormier lost in what I thought was odd fashion. I mean, how do you not follow your game plan?
Yeah.
Which is what makes our guy Khabib so special, because he's like, yeah, it's my game plan. What are you gonna do about it?
Quick note before we move on from that bout. Miocic brought his weight down. He took some of the same shots he took in the first fight, was able to take those on the chin. That can be a discourager at times for the opponent who knew, I've knocked this guy out before with a shot, similar to what I just landed.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. What else do we got here? Cejudo versus Dillashaw. I thought that was...
Shout out to EPO. Shout out to dehydration. Shout out to 125 pounds.
So he's just going on naming a list of steroids for those of you that don't.
25 pounds is not a steroid, but in this bout, you did see TJ Dillashaw, who was a champion at 135 pounds, come down the ladder to 125 and get stopped immediately and then test dirty for EPO. That's all I have for it. You know my feelings on Henry Cejudo.
This was instead of naming just the fights, but this was the year of, many would say, Israel Adesanya, and we couldn't talk about this year without talking about his multitude of fights. We had a fight against Anderson Silva on the February 10th.
Let's go.
Okay, and about a month or two short months later, he fought Kevin Gastelum.
Shout out Niger.
He fought Kevin Gastelum, and that set him up for the title fight, which happened in, I believe, September against... Who did he end up beating?
Rob Whittaker.
Robert Whittaker. So this has
shout out Australia, shout out New Zealand.
The year of Israel Adesanya. I mean, what do you got to say about his
think we can spare.
longevity
I
and
think we
ability
could
to
spend
fight?
a fair amount of time on this. He, because of his fighting style, a kickboxer and a successful kickboxer, hit and don't get hit, don't take damage, don't take lumps. We saw him take a little bit of damage in the Gastelum fight. He had his lip was folded over a little bit like this. But it was a tremendous bout. I think it was a bout that prepared him to be a champion. What was the fight before that shit the Anderson Silva fight? And that was the introduction fight, in my opinion. We'd already seen Israel Adesanya beat people up and highlight people, but that was a striking exhibition. Anderson Silva had his moments, and cats felt good about it. But it was
like
a
he
good,
just needed a pay-per-view name,
a nice name on the resume.
to get himself
So, like we
up
said, the Gastelum card. But once I seen the Anderson fight, once I saw the Gastelum fight, I felt very confident, and we got a video on it. Check it out. About what would happen in the Robert Whittaker fight.
I didn't. I thought he was gonna lose to Whittaker. Don't check that video out.
And he went out there and he stopped him. Really, he stopped him in the first round, hurt him bad, and then finished it off in the second round.
Shocking to me, not to this guy. He kind of predicted.
He just looked too good. And in fairness to Whittaker, long layoff. He represented himself well. Yoel Romero fights twice and this, that, and the other. A long layoff against a guy that's fighting a lot and who's crisp and who's very sharp. It's tough to get around that. And that's not excuse making, but that's just what it is.
Now, another guy who had a kind of a peculiar year in that he fought multiple times, John Jones, you know, the GOAT, probably, not probably, the pound for pound best right now in the world. And what do you think about his 2 fights he had this year, I believe?
He had tall guy Swede, Gustafsson, Alexander Gustafsson, and then he fought
Lionheart.
Oh, Anthony Smith. He didn't fight after that?
Yeah, he did. He fought Santos.
Santos. Those were all this year?
La Majeta, yes.
Damn, those are all this year.
He didn't come out playing, man. He lost a lot of time. He said, I want to have multiple fights. I want to be right back in the midst of things. And he wasn't lying. He fought some killers, minus Anthony Smith.
Shout out to the Cub heart. I won't get into breakdowns of the fight, but I appreciate a champion coming off long layoffs like he did. Fighting, especially he's not taking damage. The Gustafsson performance was both exciting / disappointing because he stopped him, he subbed him, but Gustafsson didn't look like himself. We knew that he had a great fight before, and then the Thiago fight was a good stand-up kickboxing exhibition. Both guys took some damage, but it was a tough fight. And then we look forward to 2020, the Dominic Reyes fight.
I mean, in all fairness, shout out to Anthony Smith. He could have had an easy win with that illegal knee that happened, I believe, in the 4th. And he won,
that's a good ass point.
He did say,
that's fair.
Let's keep
Wow.
fighting. He could have won. I believe 90% of the roster would have took that win against John.
But let me ask you this question.
Just to secure the rematch.
Now,
just to secure a rematch.
But you know when the rematch is getting, it's ending in the first round.
He's going to totally violate you.
Yep.
Like, it's not, he's going to kill you.
So maybe you're thinking about let me take this L now. It's gone the distance.
I doubt
I'm not getting smashed out in the first round.
Right.
But you missed out on the check. But I got you.
Missed out on the check. So that's very commendable to me. You don't see that in this day and age. And then we had a very interesting fight a week ago. Not really a week ago. A couple days ago. Last Saturday, you can say. Usman versus Covington.
It's been a fight.
Nigerian brother.
It's been a fight in the making. Shout out to Niger. We talked about Adesanya for a little bit. Surprising thing for this fight, I don't want to get all into the weeds of it because I didn't cover it. I didn't do any videos beforehand or afterhand, but it was a standing bout. One takedown was attempted.
Shocking, too.
Covington, if someone would probably ask before the bout, who do you think has a better stand-up? You would say Covington as a pressure fighter with a lot of spinning, weird shit. And Kamaru Usman came out, measured range, utilized a jab, and put on a boxing clinic. Covington definitely had his moments, landed clean shots, but I think the most obvious thing in that bout was Kamaru Usman just hit way fucking harder.
Yeah, and I think that shocked Kobe too, because you could see that he like he said, he would have the good exchanges, have a good hit, and Usman was like, I don't care. He was like, you're gonna hit this left, and it's just gonna keep coming.
Yes.
And eventually broke his jaw, embarrassed him, and honestly put the rest of the division on alert. Like, whoa, we were dealing with his annoying ground and pound. Now we have to worry about his stand up, and he's becoming more well rounded. He's looking very scary. I personally think next year, only person that can really see him is Woodley. A woke
Yes, unaware Woodley. Unaware Woodley.
in
Yes,
his
yes,
system,
yes, yes, yes.
I feel like can beat him. But other than that, no one has the power or anything to scare him. And so that is our year in review. Obviously, there's the huge fight of Masvidal versus Diaz. That was more of a spectacle rather than having any implications.
And I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah,
but what I want to do is probably spend the next 30 seconds, and I want to rapid fire you really quick. What are your thoughts and feelings after this year is over on Amanda Nunes?
I mean, GOAT, she solidified her position. I feel like that phrase GOAT gets tossed around too much in the UFC, especially like the likes of Max Holloway, which I don't agree with him being the GOAT. But Amanda Nunes is very well deserved. Just a list of just killers on her resume, wins fights, and she does it in great fashion.
What are your thoughts on potential crossover fights, whether it's something like Mayweather McGregor or Nunes and Clarissa Shields? Is that something we should be entertaining as fight fans, whether it's boxing or whether it's MMA?
No, if the Mayweather McGregor has taught us one thing, it's that they are specialists in their sport, and it's a sweet science for a reason. You can't go out there and say I knock people out, so why not? No, it's a certain angles and whatnot. Just stay away from it if you're an MMA fighter. Make them come to you, which no boxer will do. Think about that. Why?
I will close out this segment with 2 questions only, and you got probably 15 seconds for each question. Cowboy, McGregor, how does it end?
I think Cowboy submits him.
Sorry
to say it. I think Cowboy.
Whoa, I like that.
I think he's gonna say, "All right, this was cute. Enough with the bullshit. I'm gonna take the heel hook."
Okay, the last question is this: in a potential bout, Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman, how does that bout go?
I'll tell you right now, Masvidal's gonna think that he's gonna get in his head and it's not gonna go to the ground. Kamaru's gonna take him down and just pound him. He has no answer to a ground game. That's why he tries to get in people's head. Don't hug my crotch. Don't do this. Fight like a man. That's not gonna work against Kamaru. You're the better striker. I'm gonna take you down.
I will end it on this. I agree with that assessment, but I think that you're wrong that Kamaru won't take that bait. He'll end up being in a stand-up match with Masvidal, who does have real power. He's not Kobe Covington, and he ends up getting stopped, and he'll have a BMF belt. That's corny as shit, and he'll have a 170-pound welterweight world championship in the UFC. This is your boy JG.
AB, man.
We always in the building. This is our year-end closeout. Oh, shout out. You know what? I'm going to stretch this video a little bit longer. Shout out to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. He went over to ONE FC, Ben Askren. He's not even fighting anymore. He's retired. He fought 3 times in the year, got the Grand Prix belt. That lines him up for the shot at the World Championship in one. He should be considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet. And it's just interesting how things work out sometimes. But like I was saying before, this is your boy, JG.
AB, man, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments behind.
We need the comments.
Okay? Let us know what you guys want us to talk about. We're the People's Champs.
Bell icon for notification. E&E, we out.